Hi, I'm Max Spainhour.
And I'm Troy McCormick. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Indiana Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by High-Tech Firearms and Training, Haubrey Forestry Consulting, managing your timber and wildlife resources, Derby City Game Calls, it's your call, Lawrence County Tourism Commission, discover an unexpected destination, Hillbilly Custom Game Calls, and Fire Knock, the most advanced lighted knock.
Hi there, I'm Max Spainhour, and tonight I'm here with a very good friend of mine, Dr. John Moody, and we're going to talk about something that he's pulled off that not many people have pulled off, and that is a World Slam, several Grand Slams, and those are what we want to talk to you about. Obviously, the people here that we're talking to, all the Indiana Outdoor Adventure people are outdoor people. And that's what Troy and I like to cater to. And we all want to hear the successes from other hunters. You know, all hunters and fishermen and outdoors enthusiasts, they like to hear the successes of the other people in that profession. And I know they can look right back here behind us and see some of the things that you've gotten to do. So if you would, tell us a little bit about how you went about getting it, and then we'll come back later and we'll hear the stories of each one.
That's a real good point to take off on. Well, as you know, I did not turkey hunt for a long time. I like to crappie fish and bluegill fish. And turkey season seemed to really bother my favorite avocation, and that's bluegill and crappie fishing.
I know that for a fact because I begged him to go turkey hunting many times, and he always said, no, I'm fishing.
Yeah,
bluegill
right,
are coming on
right,
the nest.
Right, yeah, stuff like that, right. Well, and so I retired in 1999 from the university, and I thought, geez, I don't want to be a couch potato. I got to really get some things to do here. And so I thought, you know, I might want to look into this turkey hunting. I think it might have some merit. Get me outdoors in March and April, and probably try to do a little traveling with it. So I then was just thinking, and it so happened a young man by the name of Troy Pritchett, not young, a student of mine down at French Lick, called me and said, Dr. Moody, I shot a bird today. And he said, but 3 came up. And he said, I think we can get the other 2 to come up. Maybe you want to shoot a turkey. And I'd been playing with a box call a little bit, and I said, yeah, I said, I think I'll come down there. So I went down there, and Troy is a very good caller, and he was calling the birds in front of us. And next thing I know, we had decoys out. Next thing I they heard this spitting drum, and I thought, my gosh, that bird's right on top of me. And I cut my eyes to the right, and the bird's walking right by me, by my tree, going right to the decoys. I mean, he was so focused, it was unbelievable. So when he got out there, of course, he was strutting, and when he had his tail, when he turned with his tail to me, with his head behind his tail, then I brought my gun up, and I shot him. And a transformation went over me. I said, man alive, what a dumb you-know-what. I wasted all these years not doing it. I never had a high like that. I don't care. I've killed some nice deer. But that high was unbelievable.
Mother Nature's high, people.
Yeah, right, yeah. So then I said, I'm going to get into this. And being a biologist, I said, everything that bird's doing, he's doing for a reason. His biological clock. I know I have a tendency once in a while to get my thinking into the animal, and that's erroneous, just totally. But I decided then, I'm going to get into this. So I started reading, went down to the public library, gathered all the books I could. I went over to the IUS library, gathered all the books, and read intensively. I then got video, all the video that I could get. Pretty expensive, but I got them all. Everything's out there. And I got 2 boxes. You can see those trays over there, full of videos. Got those. And then the first 4 or 5 years, every day of the season, I was in the woods. Even though I had shot my bird, not hunting, but just listening and watching and seeing how the birds react. How does he react when it's raining? How does he react when the wind's blowing? How does he react when the sun's out? How does he react when there's been a lot of pressure on knowing that weekend had been on the birds? What does he do? So I went through all that with him. So then I got a pretty good knowledge about how turkeys think. So I guess what I'm saying, for instance, a gobbler goes through 4 to 5 stages during the hunting season. 4 or 5 stages. If you understand those stages, you have a better chance of killing a bird, a harvesting bird, than if you just wander in, good old Joe Blow, and walk down through the woods. There's a time in the turkey season when you can call, and every turkey, not every turkey, most turkeys in the woods will run to you. Most being the 2-year-olds, the 3 and 4-year-olds, they're not even going to probably move to you. But that 2-year-old, when you call at a certain time, they'll come. And that happens to be when the hens are on the nest, tied down. So anyway, that I got, and as I've given several seminars over the years, and I've told people to get into the stages, learn the stages of a turkey. If you do, you got a better chance of harvesting them. So then I said, well, I'm going to shoot a grand slam of turkeys. Now I was very fortunate to have my brother, who is an outstanding turkey hunter. He was in
the Grand Slam.
Yeah, let me explain that. Grand Slam are the 4 subspecies of wild turkeys in North America. So you got the Merriam in the northwest, in the southwest you got the Rio Grande, you got the Osceola down in Florida, and then you got the eastern. Those 4 birds make up your Grand Slam. And I think when you do that, when you hunt those 4 birds, you have a tremendous appreciation for the versatility that this animal has.
So that was your first Grand Slam?
First Grand Slam.
How many Grand Slams have you gotten?
4. 4 Grand Slams.
4 Grand Slams.
That's, yeah.
So let me make sure of this. We got the Grand Slam, then we have the Royal Slam is with the Gould with these 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the World Slam, which is these 4, the Gould, and the Oscillated from Mexico.
Perfect.
You learn well. Right there,
you learn well.
We're going to stop right there. Folks, we'll be right back with more Indiana Outdoor Adventures.
If you own timberland or open land, Hawbury Forestry Consulting specializes in timber sales, timber management, and wildlife habitat management for private landowners. We are also experienced with timber stand improvement, contract tree planting, and reforestation work. Our specialty is wildlife habitat management. If you own land and want to see an increase in deer, turkey, quail, and grouse populations on your property, we can tailor a management plan specifically for your needs. High-Tech Firearms and Training is your Southern Indiana source for all of your hunting and shooting supplies and firearms. We have a fully stocked selection of handguns, rifles, shotguns, knives, ammunition, bows, and archery supplies. Firearm training and personal protection classes are offered by NRA certified instructors in our in-house training center. Remember, shoot often and carry safely. High-Tech Firearms and Training is conveniently located in Sellersburg, Indiana.
Welcome back to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. We're here with Dr. Moody, great friend of mine. He's got 4 Grand Slams, 1 Royal Slam, and 1 World Slam. And now we're going to get to hear the stories about what it took to harvest these birds, what that entails on these hunting trips.
Well, you know, Mac, I'm not big on trophies and the like, but every day I walk through this room and I look at these birds, vividly in my mind, certain positive experiences come out in the hunt. Let me start with this bird right here. And by the way, this bird here, this is the eastern, shot with a muzzleloader, the second largest eastern ever shot in Indiana with a muzzleloading shotgun at this point in time. Somebody will probably do that. This bird was just homegrown, so I just want to bring that out. That's a
Hoosier bird.
That's a Hoosier bird.
All right.
That's a Hoosier bird.
We start with the best.
Okay, now let's go here to this Rio. This Rio had 5 beards. There's 29.5 inches of beard this bird had. This bird was one of the first birds that I shot. He's got 1.5 inches of spurs. So I looked down through this fence row and it teed. And I thought, well, that might be, get right at that intersection, might be a place to go. So I went, got set up, made some calls, made some more calls. And I'm not one to call very much. I call very, very little. And the third time I did call, gobble, 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 gobble. They're right there on me. 3 birds. And they walk right in. I shoot that bird. And muzzle-loading shotgun, the 2 just flew off, and I think I could have called them back. But I was,
That was your Rio, and you'd already killed or harvested your
Eastern
in
yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
And then what?
Then I went to Florida. Now that was another interesting trip. In Florida, I learned about fanning, F-A-N-I-N-G. Troy, throw that fan here a minute. In Florida, I shot my first. He was going to let me shoot 2 birds. He wasn't supposed to, but he liked me and liked whatever. And so I shot my first bird, and the next day I went out. We were sitting there, and about 7,500 yards out was this bird. He said, "Have you ever fanned a bird?" And I said, "No, I've never fanned a bird." He said, "Let me show you how to fan a bird." And we were in
Let me ask you, because you're going to explain this, but what year was this roughly?
This was in about '03.
So 03. So
Yeah.
about 8 years earlier.
Yeah,
than this.
yeah,
Okay,
right,
we're in
right, okay,
2011.
right,
All
yeah, but yeah, unheard of. And fanning is, of course, many people know this is the tail of a turkey. And you can see how mine wore out a little bit.
Shot.
Yeah, pretty shot. Looked like he'd been shot at.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this guide, 6'3", about 250. He said, "You call and I'll fan." And we're in a ground blind. He gets out of the ground blind, and he's got him a fan like this, not as elaborately done maybe as mine, but he had a fan. And he gets down on hands and knees, and I call, and he starts doing this at this level.
And this is a 6'3", 250-pound man.
Man, now keep that in mind. And so this gobbler over there, he does that nonchalant stuff. If you hunted them very long, you sense they do that. They want you to think they're not paying any attention to you, but he's watching every move you make. And then finally he stops, and he starts walking to him. And I thought, now this is going to be interesting. I mean, this guy's 6'3", 250 pounds. That bird's not going to walk very far until you realize there's a person behind that fan. So help me, he walked close enough that I think he could reach down under the fan and grab the bird by 2 legs. I said, "My gosh." He said, "Oh, I do that all the time." He said, you can call them up, you can bring them up with a fan and calling.
And you talk about that. I just come back from the National Wild Turkey Federation convention,
Mm-hmm.
They now sell these, and they sell cases to put these in so that they don't look like Dr. Moody's.
Right.
They're